David, thank you so much for joining us. I guess just hopping right into it, for investors that are unfamiliar with the business, would you please provide a brief overview of VinFast and also your recently acquired battery unit, VinES?
Sure. Thanks very much, Brian. Pleasure to speak with you today. So, on the topic of VinFast, before I jump into VinES, giving a very brief overview, we are a Vietnamese EV manufacturing company recently listed on NASDAQ with ambitions to deliver a large portfolio of electric vehicles internationally as well as domestically in Vietnam. We've got a full portfolio of 7 vehicle models that we have designed and built ourselves. We've only been around as a company for 6 years, so moved very, very rapidly and leveraging all the advantages that we have in Vietnam to build a new emerging EV automotive brand out of Asia. I'm very excited to be doing so. But on the topic of VinES, VinES had previously been a separate company under our shared group parent, Vin Group. We recently announced a merger of that business into VinFast. So that was a dedicated battery technology company that was acting as a tier one supplier for VinFast. And as I said, we recently merged that company into our business operations. It gives us a number of advantages. Prior to the merger, which is expected to be concluded towards the end of this year, VinES was an affiliate of Vin Group and majority owned by the same group parent, as I mentioned. And as I said, they acted as a tier one supplier of VinFast for battery packs with a supply of cells that were both third-party sourced and also an ability to manufacture their own cells as well. Now, VinFast directly utilizes that expertise, acquired expertise and specialization in cell and pack technology, the screening, quality testing, sourcing, and supplier sourcing of battery cells. We have the expertise as an integrated company in battery cost optimization and battery recycling as well, with a number of different battery recycling partners. So up to date, to this time, VinES has been providing battery pack assembly for VinFast cars and e-scooters. And VinFast, as I said, also focused on R&D for new battery cell technology and commercialization within VinFast vehicles. Outside of direct mobility applications, VinES also has business opportunities in other areas of battery energy solutions, such as energy storage solutions for grid scale or industrial opportunities. So it's really quite a broad business that exists within VinES, and we're very excited to have them as part of our company now.
Yeah, and we would agree that the integration of VinES is a very important step toward competing with larger OEMs such as Kia, Hyundai, and Honda. What do you see as the long-term advantages of having that business integrated with VinFast?
So I think you're right. We do think it's an important step towards becoming a fully vertically integrated battery and EV manufacturer. I think in addition to the names that you have mentioned, we would point to names like Tesla and BYD as other examples where fully integrated battery companies are taking the lead in the EV space. So the advantages that we get from the integration include a complete vertical integration of the EV battery and components and EV vehicle supply chain, as well as manufacturing process, so that it creates improvements in cost reduction. Obviously, we're not paying away a margin to third parties in all cases for cell supply, and increasingly as we're using our own cells, we'll be saving on operating margin that might otherwise be paid away. And we'll also diversify revenue opportunities away from just core EV energy use cases into other lines of business that VinES can profit from. So I think there's a number of different helpful aspects to broadening the appeal of VinFast.
Yeah, very good. And to that end, could you speak a little bit about VinES's research and development efforts? where you see the unit developing new technologies over time.
So the company is a relatively new company. It's established in 2021, so coming up on under 3 years. But it has quickly built up a capability in both battery production and R&D. So we've gone from a standing start to where we are now in a record period of time, which is characteristic of Vingroup companies. The company, VinES, developed cell technology with a number of different form factors, including cylindrical and prismatic cells, a couple of different chemistries as well that they investigated and are commercializing, which we will now benefit from them. We have one high nickel NMC chemistry, and we've also established a joint venture with a leading LFP cell manufacturer, Goshen High-Tech, where we're commercializing the production of LFP and LMFP cells at a JV facility in Vietnam that's expected to operate commercially in 2024. So the company together now as a combined basis, we're working also on new cell technologies with in-house R&D teams. And we're also partnering with emerging battery technology companies like Prolosium for solid-state battery technology in Taiwan. We have the Israeli fast charging battery technology company StoreDot as a strategic partner as well. And we're also actively involved in collaborations with a number of different source raw material miners and upstream raw material providers across Australia, Southeast Asia, and Vietnam, and also potentially in the US in the future. So a lot of things going on the R&D side and also the commercialization efforts at VinES, which will bear fruit from.
And what do you see as VinES's potential manufacturing capacity, and how do you expect that to grow over the next few years? I know you're looking at expanding into the United States as well.
Yeah, that's right. So our existing Haiphong battery pack assembly plant, we have capacity to supply 70,000 EV packs and 200,000 LFP packs for our e-scooters per annum. And we have the ability to add to that capacity as we need to, and as we deliver those numbers of vehicles and e-scooters out of Haiphong. For the cylindrical cell plant in Haiphong, we have 2.2 gigawatt hours. Our Hattin assembly plant factory, we have that's a packing plant factory at the moment before we establish the build out of the cells, but we have capacity for 100,000 EV packs there in Hattin. The JV with Goshen on the LFP battery production is 5 gigawatt hours per year, and that's expected, as I said, to begin commercial production in 2024.
Wonderful. And you mentioned expanding battery manufacturing into the United States. What do you see as a potential timetable for bringing that to the level of production to the United States?
So our current plan is to manufacture EVs in North Carolina from the second half of 2025. We do not as yet have a date for the production of battery cells at the same site, but we have a number of avenues that we're working on for securing IRA compliant EV cells, and manufacturing cells off of our own chemistry and with our own sourced raw materials in North Carolina is one of those options, but a number of different contingencies that we are working.
Excellent. It's that time of year where investors are looking back over 2023 and taking stock of what 2024 might hold. As you look back over the past year, what do you see as the firm's biggest achievements? Certainly, there have been many. And what do you think 2024 holds for VinFast?
So in terms of achievements in 2023, I think notably we've navigated difficulties and clogged capital markets to successfully list VinFast on NASDAQ. We're very proud of that, and being able to work through the adversity of closed capital markets IPO windows. We're also very proud of the vehicle launches. We've got the VF9 this year, the VF5, 6, and 7, which have all been launched in 2023, only leaving the final VF3 model to be delivered next year in Vietnam. We've executed on a go-to-market strategy that has resulted in vehicle deliveries into the US and Canada and Europe. And for 2024, as we look ahead, some of the key milestones will be expanding on that distribution model. So we are operating a hybrid model where we'll be direct to consumer in some markets and locations, and then we'll be partnering with third-party distributors in other markets. So as we move into 2024, our plan is to significantly ramp up the capacity on the dealership and distribution side. We've got about 50 different markets that we're targeting to distribute into in 2024, so very ambitious. We'll be shifting and shipping some of the current models to the US and Europe, and those will happen early in 2024, an important milestone. We'll be completing the product lineup. I guess I already mentioned the VF3 is the final model that will be delivered in 2024. And then the target is to focus very much on optimizing the platform, ensuring that our costs are as lean as they can be, to make sure that the vehicle designs are as modular and with as much overlap in common parts as they possibly can. And we'll be working on that throughout 2024. We'll also be participating in some of the key auto shows and industry events. So people will definitely see much more of VinFast, in particular in the US in 2024.
Excellent. I agree. 2024 is going to be a very exciting year for VinFast. David, thank you so much for joining us. I think that this has been time well spent for investors, and it was excellent hearing about the upcoming merger with VinES.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Brian. Always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.